All right, a new book from Image Comics called Oliver. This one is written by Gary Whitta, art by DARICK Robertson, and my best way to explain this book is that it's if you took Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist and you put it in a post-apocalyptic world with nuclear explosions and stuff. That's what we have. We have Oliver from Image Comics. Let's dive into this issue. So it opens up, and we see some of this post-apocalyptic world. We have a nice skeleton lying on the ground. And we have this beautiful art. I think the art in this book is really gorgeous. So we're following this person in this kind of hazmat type suit as they are walking through the streets of London. And this woman, she walks to this group of all these soldiers with various scars on their face. And then this woman, they pull off her mask, and she is like crying, and she is dying, but she's also pregnant, and it looks like the baby is coming out. So all of a sudden, this one army guy who's kind of in charge, he's like trying to get someone to take care of her, and they try to get her to give birth. So this baby comes out, and they are all kind of looking at this kid, and these men that are looking at this kid, this child being born, they look almost a little bit confused, and they don't really understand what's happening. And their conversation, the guy says, "This is how it works with purebred infants, trust me. You have to cut this umbilical cord." And then this guy's like, "Don't tell me that that's normal." And, they don't really know what childbirth is exactly. So this woman who gave birth, she dies. And now these army guys, they're having this meeting, and they're like, so what are we going to do with this kid? And some of the people in the room are debating whether they should just kill the kid. And then the guy's like, you're not seriously suggesting we keep it here. Some of them don't want to kill the kid because, it's just a child. So eventually this one army guy, he manages to convince the others that they are going to keep this kid. And now it's time to pick a name for this child. And they're looking in a book from William Shakespeare, and they decide to call the kid Oliver. So we jump ahead a few years, and this Oliver, now he's a little bit older, and he's running through the streets. He starts getting into a little bit of trouble, and then eventually the guy that is sort of his caregiver, this guy with the eye patch, he decides to finally tell Oliver a little bit about what is going on and the history of the world. So they're in London, they're at that famous Ferris wheel, and then he's telling Oliver that the world didn't always look this way. And then Oliver's like, what happened? And then we have a long explanation on this page, but I think it's worth kind of going through to see how they're setting up the world. So this guy's explaining to Oliver that there was a war long ago, far away from here. Many more of our men were killed than expected, but England had to keep fighting, so our leaders developed a plan. They discovered a way to grow people in factories, to mass produce them by the thousands. They created over 1 million of us, custom made for combat, strong and fast, resistant to injury and disease. We were always the first into battle, cannon fodder. It didn't matter how many were killed, they just kept making more. Eventually the enemy figured that out, and that's when it happened. A nuclear explosion went off, weapons that can destroy entire cities and kill millions. It was never supposed to end that way, but neither side wanted to lose. So then Oliver's like, so who won? And the guy says, nobody did, it just ended. There wasn't anything left to fight over, because once these nuclear bombs are out there destroying the world, what is left? And what is left, basically all that's left in society, or at least in this part of the world, are these army guys, these guys that were genetically made in factories to fight in war. They never had a childhood, they just came out of these factories and they were like adult human males ready for fighting, and that is kind of all that's left of this society, at least in this part. And then all of a sudden we have this Oliver kid who was born from a woman who was like in that radiation outfit, and this Oliver kid, it's like, then why haven't I died? Because the nuclear radiation has poisoned the air. So these hybrid people, they're able to still survive in the radiation, but most humans shouldn't be able to. But this Oliver, for some reason, he can. So for now, they're kind of leaving it like that. They put Oliver to bed, and then these two army guys are talking, and the one guy says, did you tell him who he really is? And the guy's like, he's not ready for that. He's going to find out one day. You lie to him now, he'll hate you for it. And then that is how this first issue ends. So I thought this was a pretty cool first issue. Lots of interesting concepts. I love number ones because I love being thrown into a brand new world and seeing what they do with it. And I was kind of intrigued by this world setup. Want to learn a little bit more about Oliver. I mean, I thought this was a pretty fun time. I like post-apocalyptic worlds. I love the game Fallout. I love the art style in this. So yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Not too bad. Got to see where they go with it.